Welcome to Through the Drama. Kris Harrison and Lauren Zima with you. Happy Friday, everybody. LZ, we have almost made it to the weekend.
We're so close, but we're ending the week in such a great way.
We are.
Because we are being joined by the wonderful, talented, intelligent, kind, fabulous person sitting next to us. Yes, I was talking about you.
Oh, you meant our guest.
Please welcome to the show, Sasche Steele.
You can keep going. I love all those adjectives. I am not used to all those adjectives. Thank you. I am in shock that I'm here in your home studio. And we go way back, guys. So this means a lot to me.
I can't believe we haven't seen you since our wedding.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel that long. One thing I'll give social media, it makes me feel more connected to people who I don't get to see all the time.
It's the one good thing about social
Yes.
media. We obviously talk a lot more than that, but yeah, I can't believe, obviously you living on the coast and us in the middle of the country here in Austin, Texas. Yeah, we just haven't seen you.
Can we explain to everybody you two's history? Because you have known you go back further than Kris and I do.
So obviously Sasche was a part of ESPN and Sports Center for 20 years, 16 years. And then Sasche and I were actually introduced. Do you remember the first show we hosted together?
Yes, I do.
Which one?
This was the spelling bee.
The spelling bee in
like
Washington, D.C.
in 2011?
By the way, the irony of Sasche, Steele, and I hosting a spelling bee, we can barely spell our own names, yet we were judging these poor children.
Were you sitting there just in awe of the children?
Yeah, and then annoyed. Like, why are they, children? And,
We'll
and
be
I don't know how
working
to
for
spell
them
exactly,
in a few years.
Yeah.
And then we started hosting Miss America together. And that, I think it was like 2015, 2016, we hosted our first Miss America together and did that several times through
Twice before they blew that up.
Before they, Miss America got that went down the drain. But also in the meantime, we hosted Sports Center together.
Yes.
Which was one of my dreams. We crushed it.
Well,
we probably should have hosted Sports Center.
Absolutely should have. And the fact that you started off as a sportscaster yourself, which I don't think enough people realize, the versatility of Kris Harrison.
I was feeling it in this picture, by the way.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That day was so fun. But then I was concerned because you came in and, he hosted a full segment and then we did the top 10 and I'm like, he's too good. He needs to leave because I need my job, okay? Back off, Harrison. That was like on the way to do our second Miss America together. So we did the morning show and then got in the car and drove. That was awesome for me. And of course, Kris has done so much for me through the years that I thought, wow, if I get to help with this little thing with Sports Center, it was just very full circle.
Well, and it's good to have you here at the home office in Austin, Texas.
You left out our last opportunity to work
Yes,
together.
yeah, we did the Walking Melinda's Tightrope Act and over a volcano in Nicaragua. A live volcano in Nicaragua. And I have the picture because the funny thing is when we were hosting this together, you see the gas masks around. And often you will do things like this because a producer says, what'll look cool is if you have a gas mask, and you're giving the appearance that you could be suffocated. Well, we wore these gas masks. You really didn't need them. And then all of a sudden, the director counts us in 5, 4, 3. This wafting cloud of gas comes over both of us.
Yes.
And immediately chokes us out.
Yes. Live on ABC. As the show began.
Yes.
And so we started with the gas masks on.
What I remember is that was like when COVID was happening.
Was
it a cloud of COVID? I remember worrying you two were going to get stuck in Nicaragua for all of COVID.
We started to hear, there's this COVID. We'd been hearing about it, but that it was affecting the United States and that there was consideration to shut things down. It was 4 days later, maybe 3 days later, that the world shut down. And we were joking. We're like, we have these gas masks. Maybe we should bring them just in case. Never thinking it would happen. And we got back to the country. It was 3 days later and everything. So we were this close to being stuck. You guys had just kind of started getting really serious.
We had started dating. And so you and I were in Nicaragua for about 4 or 5 days. And so it was kind of those 4 days where things really ramped up with COVID. And I remember we were at the after party with some folks from ABC and we were having a drink and, celebrating what was a bizarre but good show, I guess. And we thought, we got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Because of all places you probably don't want to be stuck for COVID was Nicaragua.
Exactly.
And so we hightailed it back home and it was a couple days later.
I remember though being, Kris had told me about you, of course. And you were pretty serious at that point, weren't you?
Yes.
We've been dating for
in
like
my mind.
a year. Yeah, maybe a year and a
Actually,
half.
let's break this down. Well, see, I didn't even know it had really been that long. But he told me that you were having a watch party that night for the volcano show. So I was like, oh, I haven't met her yet, but hi, Lauren.
And now here we are.
And look, full circle.
And yes, go ahead.
Well, no, I was just going to say, and so much has changed for all. I mean, we're married, you're engaged, congratulations, which we will get to. And a lot of job changes that you just mentioned at that time, ABC, and you guys have both gone different ways. I wanted to ask you, Sage, where you're at right now, because you have the Sage Steele show,
yes,
which is incredible. What has it been like for you to be on your own with that show?
Oh gosh, so scary.
Yeah.
Something I said I would never want to do. Who would want to have to worry about the business side of things? I am very left brain. That right brain sometimes is non-existent. And I have learned that over the last couple of months. But it allows me to be the producer that I kind of always started off as. And then you get to ESPN and it's, network and super controlled. And now it's all up to me. Which is scary, but more importantly, it's been empowering to realize that I can make my own decisions. I get to choose who I interview and talk to. And that's what my show's all about, is just having conversations. And I don't really care about the resume as much as like the why behind why you chose that profession, and then how are you as a person every day. I just want to be around good people, and I finally have the opportunity to choose that by myself. But I also get to do what I want schedule-wise, and I have a recent college graduate who actually has a job. It's been a month and she's out. She has a job. Oh my God.
Amen.
Yes. And then 2 more in college, and parents who are aging. And so it has been such a blessing to get out of the network TV world, which was not the plan, right? And then go on my own and be able to say, you know what? I want to come talk to my friends, Kris and Lauren in Austin, Texas, on a middle of the week on a Friday, and be able to do that, but then go home and check on my parents and not have to say yes to anyone else. So it's a blessing.
Well, when we come back, we're going to put Sage to work.
Uh-oh.
We're going to take her through the news and see if she still has the news chops. We'll do that when we come back. Welcome back to Through the Drama. Kris Harris and Lauren Zima here with our good friend, our guest today, Sage Steele. Very good to have you here.
Sage, we had some sports stories prepared for you, but
yes.
You were just saying you don't pay as much attention to sports anymore?
No.
Did you know the Florida Panthers won the Stanley Cup again this week?
I knew that they had a chance to
Listen,
close
she's
it out.
Like, I knew it.
And I'm like, wait, because I live down there now.
Right.
Like literally, you guys, I don't care. Is that bad?
I don't know if anybody, by the way, I'm not sure anybody cared about the Stanley Cup, especially when it's in Florida. It seemed very odd to me.
I know, but this is back to back. I mean, this is a big deal. And all of a sudden, Florida's hockey time. See, there's a sports
By the way,
I
the
can throw out for you.
last team that went back to back was the Tampa Bay Lightning. So 2 Florida teams?
Exactly. Pay attention,
Canada,
people.
come on.
And they were playing Edmonton, exactly.
Yes.
You guys are speaking a different language right
but
now.
Lauren,
I'm ping-ponging between you two.
That's all I got. Like, that's the thing. For 30 years, that's all I did. And I loved it. And I was obsessed with it. And I had to be, but I loved it. I don't think I realized how much I needed a break from it when there's pressure to know everything about every sport and every athlete and every coach.
Are you like me where, because I was a sportscaster a lot less time than you, but for a good 10 years. And I found that all of a sudden I started enjoying sports.
Again, you mean when you were done?
As opposed to like, you had to remind yourself sitting at the Final Four sometimes, hey, idiot, you're at the Final Four. People would die to be here. Enjoy this, or the Olympics or Super Bowl, because you're working. Do you enjoy watching a little bit now?
I'm almost there.
Yeah.
I think, when you know how the sausage is made.
Yeah. It's like me in reality TV.
100%. And I want to talk to you guys about that too, because it's like you don't realize how much you need a break until you maybe are forced to step away in some ways.
I was thinking about that the other night because we were watching Jon Stewart on The Daily Show.
Yeah.
And he seems to be like, he was only going to come back for the election and now he's staying. And I thought maybe because he had that break, he's able to enjoy doing The Daily Show again. Because and for you, I think for us, like we started watching Love Island this week with our daughter. And I was surprised for the first time in a while, I was able to enjoy watching a reality dating show. And I'm not sure if it is because it was so much work or because of what we went through, or maybe a little bit of both. So what is it for you? Like, they say do what you love, but when you do what you love, you get a little burnt out on what you love. Were you burnt out on sports? Was it because of everything you went through? Like, what made you take that step back from sports?
Yeah, I mean, I got to the point where, I love doing SportsCenter to the very last day I did it. And it's almost been 2 years. I can't believe it. Like, even with an ongoing lawsuit against the company for whom I was still on their screens every single day, despite suing them. Like, that was kind of the crazy thing. Usually you see your company when you're gone. No, mine was while I was still on their TV screen. So I was able to separate, and I actually think I did my best work during that time of all those years, which is crazy. But I just realized I could do it in my sleep. I got maybe too good at it. That sounds bad. Not too good.
You're
just
going through the motions. You could go through the
motions.
motions.
But I knew I could crush it because I had the confidence after all those years. And then to step away was so healthy, because you think that your world is so big. Oh my gosh, ESPN, SportsCenter, it's the Super Bowl, it's the NBA Finals. And it's like, there's so much more going on in the world that happens to be, in my opinion, for me, more important. Mm-hmm. And so since then, I knew that I had reached heights that I never thought I ever could. I mean, beyond what I ever dreamt of. And I get emotional because I got to achieve that childhood dream. Most people don't get to do that. Mm-hmm. I did it and then some. So I'm so grateful for every single moment, but I kind of feel like I did it all. And then when I left the company, I thought I would really, really miss it and miss that pressure. I don't miss a thing about it. I miss some of my friends.
Isn't that weird?
And people.
Sometimes you can get on that hamster wheel and you don't even realize you're on it.
I call it the glittery hamster wheel. Yeah. It looks very cool from the outside. And it's weird because I found myself faced with what you're talking about. What happens when you get your dream job, but then after a little while, the dream, your reality is no longer that dream. And I look back at towards the end of ET, I think, like, because of us being together and everything that happened, I looked at it differently.
Yes.
And I found myself, not really doing work I was proud of anymore. And then you realize you have to give yourself new challenges that you didn't even expect. When you're younger, you just kind of think, I'm going to climb the ladder of the job.
Yes.
And then as you get older and you achieve things, you think, okay, now I got to it becomes harder. You have to find new ways to grow.
Yeah, and I'm certainly forcing myself to grow. Very uncomfortable. That's okay. You know who Nick Saban is?
Coach of Alabama.
Oh my gosh, I am so proud of you right now.
Sometimes
I am so proud of you. Well, he used to be,
blows
right?
our mind.
I only knew about that because of Hannah
but...
Brown on The Bachelor.
Okay.
Of course. I am so proud of you. But he said something in a SportsCenter studio with me one time live. And he said, the key to greatness or any success, get comfortable being uncomfortable. Maybe he's not the first to say it, but that's the first person I heard it from. And I'm like, I am really good at being uncomfortable. And that includes now in this chapter 2 phase of my career, watching the NBA Finals. I hosted that coverage live from the finals for years and years and years. I see it now, pregame, halftime. I don't listen to it because I'm busy doing other things, but I look at it and I'm like, I'm so glad I got that time. And during the best time with the Warriors and the Cavs and Stephen and LeBron. And I know you couldn't pay me enough to do that right now. Like, I have zero desire to be there. I've watched it because it's the Indiana Pacers. Otherwise, I don't care. And I'm okay with it. It isn't bitterness. It's like been there, done that, grateful. And now there's a whole new chapter and I'm getting to do things that I feel are making more of a difference. I hope, talking about more important things and showing my kids, most importantly, that you can be uncomfortable and you can push through scary things and you can reinvent yourself. And that's important.
LZ and I decided, let's just create a studio and do a talk show in our house.
Your bedroom's right around the corner. It's amazing.
Okay, I'm throwing out some of the news I wanted to ask you about. Sorry, because I have one more question. Do you, now that you're doing your show, you're sometimes, like you said, you're wading into new topics, not sports anymore, different sort of political topics, different things that you care about deeply. Yeah. What is it like for you? Because I watch you sometimes and I will say, I'm like, ooh, like Sage is sort of, you're not afraid to kind of get into it with people now. Yeah. And is that new and different for you?
That's so new.
Right?
Kris, I was this shy, total pleaser. Like, that is probably the biggest thing I've had to get over, is letting go of the fact that I'm going to upset some people and to be okay being disliked. That was very traumatic and it took a lot of years and I'm pretty much there.
Well, it's not in our on-air DNA.
Correct. You're right.
To put yourself out there to be disliked, because you're taught the exact opposite.
That's a great point. Just to be likable on camera so people tune into you.
You get Q scores. How likable are you? You know?
And they would throw those in our faces. You need to work harder. You're only out of whatever. Compared to this person, I'm like, oh my God. Then they wonder why we're all screwed up in this industry. Not we, they. Yeah. They're all screwed up. We're fine. I don't know. I don't care. And what I have found, though, is the more I put my opinion out there about certain things, and I try to do it with kindness, like I can be strong about it, but I'm not going to crush somebody else along the way. That's not in my DNA and never will be. What I have found is that the more I speak up, the more I hear back from people who are like, thank you, especially the topic of women's sports and keeping boys out of girls' sports. This is so basic. This is science. Don't get me started. But like the number of people that I have had come up to me in tears, men in airports saying they were afraid to speak up for fear of losing their job for their little girl. I can be that person. I've already been crushed and canceled several times, and I'm still standing. I will gladly speak up. The platform could go away tomorrow. And if that's the case, did I do something with it? And to not have any more fear, it is so liberating. And I just hope and pray that my kids and everybody else don't take 50 years to find the courage to be yourself. Like, please do it now. Don't wait. That's my only regret. Even though you can't change it because it takes what it takes to get there. The journey is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But man, I think if I had found that strength and courage before, you never know. So please, guys, don't wait.
So you've preached that to the kids.
Oh, endlessly. And sometimes we've had some tough conversations. They have not liked everything I've said, for sure. I mean, they're tough conversations. But I'm like, but that is what I believe. You don't ever have to defend me. The day before my lawsuit dropped against Disney, I went to each kid one by one and said, guys, this is what's coming. And I'm sorry it's going to be ugly. But don't feel like you have to defend me. If someone, a coach, a teacher, another parent says something again to you, please just say, that's my mom's opinion. She has a right. It's diversity of thought, and that's what we go with. And then when I was apologizing, saying this is what's coming, my son, and you guys know Nicholas, he was 17 at the time, and he looked at me and he goes, Mom, it's about time you stood up for yourself. And I bawled because I realized I'm preaching strength to my kids. And what was I showing them? The opposite.
Yeah.
I was telling them to be strong, and then I was running away from it. So I knew at that moment, no matter what happened with that ridiculous, devastating lawsuit, that I already kind of won because my kids finally saw me standing up. And that there was shame in that it took me so long. And now I'm like, I will never be quiet again.
Well, now you know what happens when the three of us get together.
I'm sorry.
Why are you saying sorry? That was
phenomenal. We always dive deep. We get emotional. When we come back, we're probably going to get a little more emotional because the next chapter for Sage Steele is going to be spectacular. And we're going to have a small part in that when we come back.
We are back with our new show, Three Divorcees. I'm just kidding, but we have to be real about who's sitting here.
I thought we were going to say Second Love Crew.
The second time around?
The second time around crew.
That's actually a reality
Three
show.
divorcees. That's phenomenal, and it's facts.
We do need T-shirts in the gift shop.
So we are all sitting here. We all found love our second time around. But Sage, I am so freaking happy for you because when we first met, you and I had a lot of talks about you were a little fresher off your divorce.
Yeah.
Listen, that was a tough time. You're a mom of 3, and we could spend so much time going through what you went through. But what I want to talk about is the new love that you have in your life. Yes.
The future.
You are freshly engaged.
Do I look like cheesy little girl grin?
Glowing,
glowing. Yes. Hi, Dave. He's the best. And I'm so excited for you guys to spend time with him. I'll just say this. When I let go of control, trying to control everything in my life, I'd come off of a really bad New Year's Eve date on January 1st, 2024. And I live in Florida, and I got in the water, and I just prayed. And I was like, Lord, don't bring me anybody until you bring me somebody. And make it really obvious because I'm an idiot. And it literally from January...
I like the disclaimer to God.
God, I'm sure he knows I'm an idiot. He already knew.
I made you. I know that.
He's like, you're a dummy. Yes. Let me help you. So from January 1st, 2024 until November 12th, the day I met Dave, 2024, when I say it was like the Sahara Desert, nobody, I couldn't pay anybody to text me, nothing. And that night, I knew within 2 hours that this is the man I was going to spend the rest of my life with. And I didn't believe that was possible. It's only been 7 months. I knew that night. We knew that night. And you'll hear the story another time. Mm-hmm. But, oh my goodness, when you let go of control, and for me, give it to God, as I have with the rest of my life, why was I holding on to that? And I'm grateful.
So upcoming wedding, LZ and I will be there front row. We can't wait.
Oh, no, front row.
Front and center. It's me, and I'm sitting right next to Gary Steele, the Colonel.
My parents had to say hi. They love you, and it's about time that they get to meet you.
By the way, I do want to put up, before we go, I have to put up a picture because I have to give a shout out to one of the most amazing men I know, and that is your dad, Colonel Gary Steele. This is us at the Army-Navy game. This is my bucket list moment. I called Sage and I said, I've always wanted to go to Army-Navy, but I want to go with your dad. Your dad has been such a mentor and friend to me. I know he has for you. But, when I was going through all my stuff, I called you and I said, can I call your dad? And he's one of the first people I talked to. And your dad called me, kept in touch with me. We've remained very good friends. I love your mom, by the way, is wonderful.
Wild.
She's an angel. She's an angel.
She is.
But I truly have so much love for your dad.
Thank you. My parents have pulled me through all of it. They have saved me in so many ways. It sounds obvious, but literally pulled me off the ground at times, which we'll get into at another time when I was going through my drama. And Kris was there to help me when I got in trouble at ESPN. And my parents, they might like you more than me. I think we're to that point 100%. And I cannot wait for them to get to hang with you at the wedding.
We are so grateful you came to hang with us today and so excited for what's next for you, my friend.
Appreciate it. We've had a long, good run, but I think
3 divorces.
3 divorces. We definitely got to get that T-shirt made, put it in the gift shop, the Through the Drama gift shop. We also need to create a gift shop. But thank you for being with us, Sage. Thanks for coming to the home office in Austin.
Thank you.
I can't wait to hang with David now. And
of course, follow Sage on Instagram and check out the Sage Steele Show.
Yes, please.
I love that you bring people on who you agree with, who you disagree with, because I think one thing we all know is even as dear friends like we are, we don't agree on everything, but we love each other.
And thank you for watching each and every day right here on Merit and listening to us wherever podcasts may be found. We will do it again next time.
Hey, Dr. Phil here. My network, Merit TV, has it all.
Now, let me blow your mind.
Merit TV's got the news that matters.
The selection of a new pope.
Entertainment you crave.
Busted.
Everybody in good mood today?
And live events.
Surprise.
What am I, chopped liver?
With serious punch.
Big shot.
Go to merittv.com and download the Merit TV app today.